Hey Peanut, hey Munchkin, how are you guys? I am currently at work and I know I haven't made a video for you in a couple months. We've been pretty busy trying to deal with getting the house taken care of and getting all moved in Wyoming, which we're moved to Wyoming. And as you can tell, I'm tired. I am. I was up at about 2:30 this morning, 2:30, and then I kind of slept in until about quarter to 3. And then I left the house at 3 o'clock and drove down here to Cheyenne. So it's about an hour and 45-minute drive, so I could be to work. I do that on Monday mornings, so that way I don't have to leave Sunday night. I like to try and stay home as much as possible with your Mimi. She misses you guys a lot. I miss you guys a lot. I wish we could see you. But it is what it is. I just want to send a video, and like I say on the other ones, I do pray that you get to see these at a later time to know that we haven't forgot about you. Definitely never have forgot about you. Let's see. So your Uncle Dale is doing really well. He is currently taking care of his. Let's see. He got his. I believe he got his graduates in computer management, business computers, something like that. I don't know. I'm a trade school kind of guy. I've always been. I grew up working with my hands. I've gone to school working with my hands. I did go to college. I was actually, and I know you probably didn't know, I definitely know you didn't know this, but I actually went to college to be a policeman or a detective. I wanted to be a detective. I always found, I don't know, something about solving mysteries is always intriguing to me. Just, I don't. I just like to solve things. I like to put pieces of a puzzle together and find out what happened or what's going on, or just solve issues like that. It's just my forte. But anyway, yeah. While I was there, because kind of like your Uncle Lynn, I guess he would be your great Uncle Lynn, my little brother. He has ADHD, and I've got kind of a portion of ADHD. I'm not near as bad as him. He's like, as your great grandma would say, he's my mother. He's a fart in a skillet. He's everywhere. He's just bouncing all over the place. So. I'm not that bad, but I do get antsy. So while I was in my classrooms, I was there for about 3 months going to school, and the professor actually pulled me aside one time after class, and he literally said, I don't think this career is good for you. And I was like, really? And he's like, going, yeah, it's I can tell just by the way you sit and watch things that you have to be doing something all the time. And I was like, well, yeah, it's kind of the way I am. And he goes, well, I'm going to break it down for you. The criminal justice system is kind of like breaking your life down into 10 seconds. And it's going to be 9 seconds of pure boredom and 1 second of pure terror. And that's how it is. And I was like, huh. And he was like, so you're doing fine here, but just on a career side of things, I don't think this career is quite right for you. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was truthful about it, and I respected him for it and everything. I mean, he wasn't trying to belittle me or anything like that. He was just like trying to insinuate that, this is going to be a career path that you probably are going to hate. And one thing about any job you get, if you hate your job and it is a job and not a career or something that when you wake up in the morning, it's like this job here. Even though I'm working as an electrician, I'm using my hands all the time and all that. I do wake up in the morning and I like to come to work, and so I have been at jobs where I wake up in the morning, and it was when I was living in Tennessee and I was working for Nearstar. That was the worst, absolute worst job I ever held in my entire life. I absolutely detested going to work for Nearstar. And unfortunately, it kind of spilled over into the family side of things. And I was always like really depressed and very like angry. Not like angry like I'd yell at people or all that, but I was very withdrawn, especially from you. And of course, like little Peanut, you'd come and visit us at the house, and Mimi would be there, and you and Mimi would hang out, but I would be in the bedroom I just honestly, guys, I literally hated my life. Not with you guys, but just hated my life as far as like career wise. It was just insanely hard for me to go to work every day, especially there. Then I went to Carmoose, and of course Carmoose was a totally different gig, and I actually really, really liked that place. And well, I'll just be honest, one of the reasons why I ended up quitting is so I could move back home, because I was living in Morristown where you guys were at, but we weren't allowed to see you, and your mom and your dad hated us, and it was very painful. It just was. And it was very painful for your Mimi to come to Morristown to be with me, and she couldn't even come see you guys. And it was very hard. So that was a portion of the decision why I quit Carmoose and went back to Gordonsville, because of that. It wasn't all because of that. Some of it was because of the commute back and forth to Nashville from Knoxville, because that road was terrible. It was just terrible trying to drive it all the time. On Monday or Sunday nights and Friday afternoons. So I'd leave Knoxville and I'd go home to Nashville or Gordonsville, and I'd do that on Friday afternoon, and sometimes it'd take me 2 hours, sometimes it would take me 8 hours, and it was just a drive. But that wasn't the only reason. A lot of it's just because we couldn't. A lot of emotional stuff, and I saw how bad it was, really tearing up your Mimi, and I just couldn't do that to her anymore. So that was some of it. Anyway, but then I moved back to Wyoming, and I'm here. I'm an electrician. I quit being a supervisor. I quit being a manager. I just had to take a break from the whole working for, or not working. I had to take a break from managing people. People always, if something happened, it was, well, let me get my supervisor, or let me get my manager, and that's me. So I'm trying to do my job, and then I got to go take care of this job, and then I get to go take care of this job, and then I go home, and then somebody call up at 8 o'clock at night, hey, we got an issue here. And it was just weekends, vacations. People calling me all the time, and it's money's good. I'm not putting down the money at all, because it was a good salary, but to me, money is nice. Believe me, I'm not saying, because it pays your bills and all that stuff, but family to me is way more important. And it was taking way too much time away from the family, with your great grandma, and then of course your great grandpa passed away last year, and that was pretty hard. And trying to deal with that, and trying to deal with all the other stuff and everything, when I left Rogers Group and went to find a new job, your Mimi asked me if I was going to look for another supervisor job, and honestly, I just looked at her and was like, you know what, honey, I don't think I want a supervisor or manager job for a couple years. I need to take a break. I just want to become a tech like I was before. I want to go clock in. I want to do my job and clock out and go home, and I'm done. I don't have to deal with people. I don't have to deal with the phone. I don't have to deal with emails and text messages and just all that stuff that comes with it. It's just something I didn't want to do anymore for a while. And a couple of years, if they get a supervisor position open, I might apply for it. I might say, you know what, I think I can get back into it because everybody says I do a great job at it. And I think a lot of it is because I have a lot of empathy for the guys in the tech positions because I am one. I grew up as one. I started out sweeping floors in a garage and moved my way up to a manager. I went from the ground up. But anyway, back to your. I like my job. We'll just say that. I do like my job. I actually enjoy getting up in the morning and coming to work. Your Uncle Dale, he's got his graduate in business, computers, something like that. And then he was looking at getting out in, I believe, October of next year, 2026. So we still got a little over a year with him being in the situation he's in. So, but he's up in Newcastle. He's in a minimum security, so he has a lot more freedom. He's been there for quite a few years because you guys are way too young to even understand what I'm talking about on that. But I don't know, maybe you'll see this sometime soon. But if you have any questions about it, and we are able to see you, and hopefully I can see you before I pass on into go up to heaven and hang out with my family again and see Jesus and all that. I know how your mom and your dad feel about that, but that's their belief, mine's my belief. And unfortunately, I don't know if that's what part of the reason is why we can't see you, but I believe everybody has a right to have their own belief. Be it right, be it wrong, it's your belief. That's just the way I was raised. So, anyway, enough of that one. But, anyway, guys, I just wanted to send you a message, and kind of just feels like I'm hopefully talking to you. And I definitely hope and pray that you do see this and know that I do love you and I miss you both very, very much. And if you take offense to being Peanut and Munchkin, I apologize. That's just who you are to me. You will always be my little Peanut, my little Munchkin, even when you're 40 years old and I'm 90 years old. You'll still be my little Peanut and my little Munchkin. Anyway, girls, I love you very much, and I miss you, and I hope to get to see you again.